Hello, my name is Steven. I go by ARMADA on the old internets, and I like to make videos about card games, specifically Flesh and Blood. There's been a recent influx of new players to the game, people that are checking the game out for the very first time, so I thought it would be a good idea to make a starter guide of sorts on how to jump into the game, what products you should buy. Should you start with boxes? Should you buy singles? Should you buy these PreCon Blitz decks? We're going to talk about all of that from the ground up. Starting with players that are brand new to trading card games. If that's you, if you've never played a trading card game before and you're checking this out for the very first time, I want to point you to one product in particular to help learn how to play this specific trading card game, and that is the Classic Battles Rhinar vs. Dorinthia starter set. Now, I will say this, there are definitely some people in the community that don't necessarily like this product as much as I do. I really do think that these two decks in this product are fantastic for learning how to play the game, though. They have every card type represented in the game, from instants to defense reactions, attack reactions, normal edge. Everything that you could play in this game is found in this, and so you can learn every single interaction and how they all function in this set, and that is a very, very powerful tool to learn how to play. The downside to this product, and I agree with most people, is the price point. The price point when this released was like $49.99, and that's too expensive in my opinion for the just overall product. But if you can get your hands on this at a cheaper deal and you've never played a card game before, this is where you should start. Two very cool heroes, a couple of very beautiful cold foils that you can be found in here. By the way, if you don't know what a cold foil is, I'll show you one on screen now. And all in all, a good way to learn how to play the old Flesh and Blood trading card game. Those decks are fantastic. But let's say you didn't want to spend the money on this. You wanted to save a little bit of money just to see if you like the game. And maybe you already know how to play trading card games. Maybe you've been playing trading card games for years. Well, then I recommend you start with these. These are Blitz decks. These are PreCon Blitz decks. They retail for anywhere between like $12 to $15, depending on where you pick them up. That's US, of course. And I would specifically say pick up the Fi and the Dromai Blitz decks, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. But Fi is a ninja hero. He likes to slice and dice. Dromai is an illusionist hero. She conjures dragons from ash and sand. And these decks play fairly well against each other, but they're also just good ways to learn how the game functions and just play it out that way. And I do recommend these if you already know how to play the game. Speaking of how to play, I made a how to play video all the way back in 2019 for the game of Flesh and Blood. So if you want to watch a how to play video that is succinct, feel free to watch my video. I also recommend the professor's video. Tellurian Community College put out a how to play as well. Both of those videos are very succinct, and they walk you through how to play the game at a very easy to understand level. So if you watch either of those, I think you're going to very easily pick up how the overall flow of the game functions. But these are a great place to start, specifically looking at the contents of like the Fi deck, for example. You've got your hero. They do some very fun spot foiling treatments for the hero. They do have a difficulty meter as well as like a general overall how to play, and you get the picture of the adult hero on the back. And then you have your equipment. You've got your cards in deck. They have a Phoenix Flame set out because that's how Fi kind of does things. He starts with the Phoenix Flame in the graveyard. And then they have just the deck and all the cards that you would need to actually play the game. So it's literally just one-stop shop how to play it. And highly recommend, if you're picking these products up and you've never played the game before, go and watch a how to play beforehand. Otherwise, read the rule book and try to pick up one of those Classic Battles decks. My son actually plays the Dromai deck pretty heavily because I taught him how to play with the old dragons. He's a big dragon nut. This is the actual deck that I taught him how to play the hero Dromai with, which is kind of fun because he really enjoys that. Now, if you get those Blitz decks and you find that those heroes are not really your cup of tea, the next best spot I would go to would be the PreCon Blitz decks from Tales of Aria. I think Briar, for example, and Oldham are good foils to the two heroes that we just looked at. So if those heroes don't really tickle your fancy, go for like a Briar or an Oldham, or heck, even a Lexi. Lexi's a little bit more complex in her interactions, but I think these two heroes can easily easily be picked up and understood from the box, which is great. And then there are a couple of other Blitz decks available to you. I think the two that play best against each other, believe it or not, are all the way back from Monarch. The Monarch set that came out over a year ago, Prism versus Bolton. And then there's also, I'll just get them all at this point. Prism versus Bolton's a great matchup, and in fact, I taught my son how to play the entire game off of Prism and Bolton precons. And then there's Chain and Levia. And honestly, I'll tell you this right now too, I have 4 of these Blitz decks still sealed. So if you would like a copy of these, leave a comment down below saying, you know, if you're new to the game and what drew you to the game. I'll pick a comment. I'll leave a comment on your comment, and then I'll reach out to you hopefully via my Discord. So join the Discord, and I will send these to you. I have a full copy set of these precons, and I teach my son how to play them. And if you would like a set of these 4, feel free to just leave a comment. I will give those out to someone in the comments section. But these Blitz precons are great things to pick up. They are relatively inexpensive, and they're a fine way to try out new heroes before you dive into buying singles or boxes. And speaking of boxes, if you're looking to pick up booster box products, I highly recommend starting with Uprising. Uprising is a fantastic set that was just released. You can get your hands on these boxes at a great price. The stock is fantastic. It's still very readily available. But the great thing about this in particular, not only are the heroes very cool, you have Phi that I showed you earlier, you have Dromai, and you also have Icelander in this, which is an elemental wizard, very akin to Elsa, casting ice freezing spells. All of those heroes are very cool, but they are also all pretty prevalent in the meta right now. None of them are, I would say, too broken. They're all just good and powerful, thematic, and fun to play. And that's a very important thing. You have in this set, you have dragons, you've got like freezing effects, you have Phi that just stabs people a bunch. It's a fun set to pick up. It's very easy to build decks and expand those Blitz precons by buying a box of product and then just going crazy with it. So if you're looking to buy box product, I recommend that you start with Uprising. If you don't like those 2 precon heroes and perhaps you picked up, you know, like the Oldham or the Briar Blitz decks, then I recommend that you pick up a box of Tales of Aria. And that's only if you're looking to crack open packs and enjoy the pack opening experience, because you can also purchase singles as well. But I will say this, if you're buying box products, check with your local game store first and foremost to see if they have box product on hand, because you should purchase from a local game store if you have the ability to. If your local game store can get their hands on product, ask them to order it and then buy it directly from them so they get a little bit of a profit. They move the product and their store looks better to distributors. 100% buy from an LGS if you can. If you cannot do that, yes, you can go to online retailers, places like TCG Player that sell box product. Heck, you can find local game stores on TCG Player to try and buy product from them. But if you can support local, that is always the best option. And finally, one of the questions that I always see is, what hero should I play? I like this or that in this game or that game. Really, it's kind of interesting because with all the heroes that are actually in this game, they all play so uniquely them. Yes, they fall into sort of archetypes that other games have, you know, like this one's more aggressive, this one's more controlling, but to be honest, they are all so incredibly themselves that it's really worth diving into for yourself and seeing what you prefer. Because sometimes you're going to like one thing and you're going to think that it's going to be your style, and then you're going to find, oh, it just doesn't feel as good as that other hero. So that's why these products are fantastic, because they're easy ways to pick up and play. Check with your local game store, because there's a lot of people that have built precons that they just give out for free. Perhaps people in your area have done that. Hop into the Discord, perhaps my Discord or the main Discord, ask around, see if there are game meetup nights in your area. Ask your local game stores as well, because there's a lot of stores that are running events for this. There's Armory events, which are more relaxed, like weeklies that you can play in. There are higher level events that walk you up towards the main premier events that get you into these big callings or pro tour scenes. So the game is expanding, it's growing, it's exploding in competitive scenes, and hopefully soon in casual scenes as well. And if you're jumping into the game for the first time, I highly recommend that you do so through products like this, through buying singles if you find one of these heroes that you really like for that specific deck, or for going crazy and enjoying a box or two of openings. Hopefully you found something here useful, you gained some insight, or you just enjoyed the talk. Either way, I hope you had a good time, and if you did, feel free to make that number go slightly higher to another number. That's pretty impressive that you have the power to just press a button and make a number go up. So you should consider doing so. As always, thanks for watching.